9 right now. Let's turn to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. hitting 7 million confirmed cases. That's according to NBC News. More than 20 states and Puerto Rico reportedly showing an increase in the 7-day average of new cases since the final week of August. This after falling for 8 consecutive weeks. Right now, the U.S. accounts for over a fifth of the nearly 1 million deaths reported worldwide. We are seeing a decline in new cases for our state. The Department of Public Health reporting more than 1,300 additional cases yesterday. That is well below our 14-day rolling average. The number of COVID-19 patients in the hospital also remains steady. There have been around 1,400 people being treated for COVID for much of the past week. That's about 10% of all patients currently receiving treatment in Georgia's hospitals. There were also 49 additional deaths yesterday, right at our 14-day average. The upside, we're still not seeing the anticipated post-Labor Day spike as some other states are seeing.